Hello everyone. Welcome to the Tier 1 Americas division. Not sure what happened with the audio there on that one, but of course, my name is Strifium, and joining me this evening, well, from a different side of Australia, potentially, we have Seb. We had Mikhail last night, now we have Seb. Seb, how you doing? Bahrain, of course. Tier 1 action. How you feeling?
I'm excited, Shifty. I'm excited as ever. How are you yourself?
Oh, I'm very excited. Tier 1 this season for the Americas. Of course, this is a division I used to race in. And I know a lot of the drivers on this grid. Of course, my teammate is in attendance today, Mr. Zamis. And of course, we have the reigning Tier 1 champion for the Americas division, Mr. Becky B, in attendance as well. And a whole host of new names to potentially contest that championship this evening. And that's what we like to see. And now we'll take you through it just in a moment. But first things first, we take a look at the circuit. 15 turns of intensity here around Sakir. 5.4 kilometers, 3.362 miles, with three very fast-paced DRS zones. Hard braking to boot as well here. Now, with that said, we take a look at the calendar for the divisions here in Season 5. We have Bahrain, Netherlands, Russia, Belgium, Italy, Japan, as well as Britain, Azerbaijan, Hungary, Singapore, and France. Spain is in the mix, as well as Austria, Mexico, and the final round of Brazil to boot in this 15-round calendar. And of course, next season we'll be visiting some circuits that aren't in this list, potentially some that are. Now, with that, Seb, it's time to take a look at the Americas Tier 1 teams, and it's a very good lineup this evening. Jan Rhapsody over at Mercedes, Angel Cordova and Maxim over at Red Bull, with Rez and Siffy for McLaren's. Rez, an Australian like yourself, Seb, and of course I know you've commentated over his driving before. And we have B-Man and Fizzymon over at the Scuderia Ferrari squad. Fritzen and Babatunde over at AlphaTauri, with TJ Spin and Zamis for Aston Martin. Carmelesson and Casquito Benitez over at Alpine. It's Stoltzman and Jacob for Alfa Romeo. Becky B, the reigning champion from the division last season, taking up his mantle in the car he is so familiar with in the Williams. Belma partnering him over there. And it's Cedros and Yamamoto over at Haas to round out this 20 driver grid. And I do believe we have 19 out of the 20 full-time roster drivers here this evening, with Casquito Benitez being the odd man out of attendance this evening. Taking a look at the standings chart, that's how it will look once we start getting into racing action and things get populated after round 1, and that's what we'll really like to see moving through ahead, because this is where you're going to get to see who's in charge of the Drivers' Championship and who's at the tip of the spear for the Constructors. Now, Seb, are you ready to go racing? Because I am.
Go racing. Yeah, I was about to ask you that. Very excited. Bahrain, great track for racing. Very key. You get into a DRS train. There are 3 DRS zones, one from the main straight, the next one turns 3 to turn 4, both in the first sector, and the final one in that second sector. After the difficult 9 and 10 braking zone, you have one into turn 11. So very key get within a DRS train, because if you're not, you're going to be left stranded and losing time. It's worth about 8/10 a lap around here during the race, this 29 lap race, with around approximately 60 gear changes per lap, Strifium. So it should be a very good one with very high speeds and some good racing.
A lot of intensity here in Bahrain, as we've seen from 3 races already. All right, now.
Yeah, and
Sorry, go ahead, Seb.
yeah, no, you can really get onto it as well. Yeah, a lot of great battles have been seen through the years, not just in league racing, but IRL. You know, go back to 2014, Rosberg and Hamilton. That's probably the most famous one. Turns 1, 2, 3, 4. They just battle out all the way through there. And you can even have some little scuffles through turn 5, 6, and 7. Not really ideal, but you never know. You always see some good racing here, and that's the power of the DRS that can bring cars together.
Of course, you can think back to the start of this season as well for Bahrain when you think about Lewis Hamilton and Max Verstappen fighting things out. And got to get a message on over to, I think, Mr. Maxim to go. ready to go racing as soon as all the drivers are readied up and we get into our 18-minute qualifying session. Driver or not at the moment. I don't believe so. I think we're just getting everyone readied up. So, the intensity is building. Each minute that we tick longer getting into this qualifying, I have to say everyone here is wondering who could potentially be on pole position, and this will be the first time everybody really kind of gets sat into a race where they are racing one another in this grid. We've had, of course, as I call them, the practices, bit of a sandbox of divisions. You come in here, this is where everybody is okay. Now it's shoulder to shoulder. This is the division, Tier 1 Americas. Ladies and gentlemen, it is time to go racing here in Bahrain. I love it. Well, at the very least, it's time to go qualifying, Seb.
Yeah, it's time to go qualifying when you see the cars go the fastest, absolutely on the limit. As you said, 18 minutes, approximately 3 runs in this quality session at around a 1 minute 24. That's what we'll be thinking around here in Bahrain, Striff.
Waiting on Carmen Lesson to load in, and of course we'd like to get your opinions in the chat of who you have got for the potential win here. We want to know who you are rooting for. Of course, tell your friends about the stream because America's Tier 1 action is about to make its debut for the first time here in Season 5. My name is Striffium. Joining me is Mr. Seb. And, well, Seb, 18 minutes, the clock is ticking, and we have 20 drivers on this grid. Why don't you take us through it?
Yeah, well, as you said before, Lucas Yan, Rhapsody in the Mercedes, pairing each other. Angel and Maxim in the Red Bulls. Rez, the Australian, as you stated, Sifi will be teaming him in the McLaren. And we have B-Man and Fizzymon in the Ferraris. Fritzen showed some great pace late last season when he did do those races. He's teaming up with Babatunde in the AlphaTauri. TJ Spin and Zamis, your old teammate, in the Aston Martins with Karma and Sales, the only reserve looking to steal some points tonight. Toltzman and Jacob in the Alfa Romeo with Becky B, our defending champions, teaming up with Phoenix Barmer. And in the Haas, Sejos and Yama will be rounding off the grid.
Well, Yama and Becky B, teammates last season over at Williams, now on separate squads this year, or at the very least this season. And, well, we'll have to see how they pair themselves up on track this season. And holy smokes, I'd just like to give a massive shout out to Mr. Super Noodle Bagel coming in hot with a major raid. Thank you so much for the support and welcome to the action. You haven't missed too much. We are just heading out for the first runs of the evening here in Tier 1 Bahrain for the Americas.
And we're just looking at B-Man go through turn 12. It's a deadly corner. Car's on a knife edge during the race. Got to be careful of that inside curb as it tends to make your car swap ends if you're not careful on it. At the very least, if you do catch the car, when it does try to swap ends, you'll be about 3 meters over to the left side of the track limits. But here we go. First lap of America's Tier 1, Striff.
B-Man in the Ferrari, a car, well, I suppose he's just taken over for me, hasn't he? He's coming through into turn 1, utilizing second gear, holding off a bit, maybe a bit of an issue trying to find the exit, and he's going to push through turn 3 now on the straight into turn 4. DRS wide open on the rear, coming through now turn 4, up through the gears again. Now as we come through 5, 6, and 7, he will be the first driver to set a potential lap. Maxim in the Red Bull pulled off to the left-hand side just outside of turn 8 to let him through. You'll love to see that etiquette on circuit as well. Coming down now, a very, very difficult section of circuit, potentially the most difficult section of circuit where we just saw the Ferrari pass through was turn 10, that downhill left braking can definitely cause quite a few lockups. E-Man now up through turn 11. Nice section of circuit, a very flowing section here in Bahrain. Coming through turn 12, now down through 13, and he will push as hard as he can with the rear wing not open. down this straight. It is not a DRS straight, and that's a common thing that some people will mistake. As we come into 14-15 here, now the penultimate and final turn of the circuit. B-Man, what's he got? 25.191 for the opening run of the evening. A very good run from him as well. Maxim will start behind him. Yamamoto, a 26.959. Seb on the mediums. Johnny comes through as well, and Becky's right there too. So Becky not wasting any time here. What a time he has come through with on that medium set. Fritzen, holy smokes, these times are really ramping up quick.
Yeah, and I expect these guys to probably switch over to the softs for the start of the race. Later in quali, I expect those times to be in the around, I'd say, mid-24s. Look at that, B-Man and Rez and Zamis as well, your old teammate. They're getting their times in on the softs. They're looking pretty good as well.
I mean, I'm going to show a little bit of bias. If you don't know Zamis, he is the founder of the Misfits Racing League, and I have to say that's quite a statement from the boss, if you will, or at the very least the founder, my good man Zamis. What a lap to open it up for the season, and that's a statement. And he's been really enjoying this game. Maxim now in the Red Bull. He's flowing through Sector 3 as he comes through out of Turn 12. Times on this grid already very, very tight, especially for these soft runners, and it's even closer between these medium runners too. You love to see it early here in quali.
You'd love to see it. It's a great sign of things to come, especially heat up as the season gets on. It looked like Maxim had a great time on those softs. He's probably had a mistake somewhere, but nevertheless, it's the start of quali. All you want is just the banker to get in so that you can focus on your laps in the future and get some little points of information throughout your lap to improve on.
Izimon into 13th position. Maxim went 7th quickest, and he did it on the softs, and he'll join 3 other runners there at the top of the grid on the softs as it stands. EJ Spin in the other Aston Martin, not able to get a valid lap out at the moment, and we jumped on with Fizzymon. We'll check in with Karma Lesson as well. He's coming through turn 11.
Looking good so far. I just want to point out that I've just been called the other Mikau Striff, so I'm just living in his shadow at this point.
I'll have you know, Seb has been around for 3 seasons.
I literally shouted Karma, good time, 25.9. A couple of minutes after Becky B, so slight little bit of track evolution in that. Track normally ramps up about 0.6 as we go on, but I don't think we'll be seeing these medium runners go onto the medium tires again later in the session. Obviously, 1 medium set per qualifying session, 3 soft sets, and that normally means you end up seeing more soft runs than medium runs, obviously, unless the medium strategy is supreme. Lucas Yan, 24.8. He's 2/10 clear of your old teammate Zamis, and that's another statement right there.
Yeah, most definitely a statement. Sales behind him in the other Alpine. He is beginning a lap. EJ, not entirely sure if he's on a flyer right now. No, he is pulled off. Just coming outside of turn 10 to allow Karma Lesson through, who's on an in-lap right now, if I'm not mistaken. He just came through on that medium set. So we'll jump back with Mr. Sales in the Alpine as he comes through turn 5.
Yeah, turn 5, 6, 7. Be careful not to go too wide in 7. If you go over those double curbs, there's a chance you might get flung out to the left on them until in the car. Bottom out. This is 9 and 10, the most trickiest braking zone. Try and keep that car straight. He's locked the rears a bit. As you can tell, the car started rotating through 9, and that might have unsettled him through 10. Gets the throttle down well enough. DRS open on the run down to turns 11. Braking over that curb to maximize the entry angle. Get the car over to the left, fling it to the right. Not really much fighting going on because not a lot of fuel load, not a lot of tyre wear, so very easy to stay on top of the car through turn 12 in qualifying. 13 looked good enough, maybe looking to use that more outside curb in future runs just to maximize time and maximize speed through the corner. Overall, looks like a good lap from Sales. In high 25.
Yeah, well, you called it there. 25.954 coming out of Sales, just ahead of Karma Lesson, who did it. His teammate on the medium compound tires. Everybody on grid right now on the soft compound tires now. A variety of drivers looking to go as quickly as they can. One of them is a Rhapsody pushing in the Mercedes. Of course, Rhapsody driving that car last season as well. For a time, he was partnered with Gazieg. Gazieg now in Tier 2.
Rhapsody's a fast driver. We have seen him fight a lot, especially last season. He was up there in the 3 races I was lucky enough to see, which were all very entertaining. He's someone I'd expect to do very well, Stripshim. He's on the soft tyres now. Oh, what's happened there?
I'm not sure what that was. Sales and Rhapsody. Ladies and gentlemen, we have some drama in qualifying as there's been a little bit of contact there between the Mercedes and the Alpine driver.
It looked like Sales was getting out the way and he's just completely forgotten that Rhapsody was there, maybe. Unless he's thought Rhapsody's not on a lap, but that's a good chance of a report right there, Striff.
That was a very interesting situation. Now we have Lucas Yan on top of things. Zamis is there with Angel right behind him. Less than 100th of a second separating those two. And it's a very tight margin between the Red Bull and that Aston Martin of Zamis. Phoenix Bomateo, 6th position for him. A nice run. And, well, excuse me, Siffy, a 24.791, getting the most of that track evolution, it would seem so far. A very solid performance for provisional pole there.
Oh, expect those times to drop even further. That's ridiculous. Expect mid-24s, I'm thinking.
Yeah, what a shootout. If I'm not mistaken, pole position today in the Tier 3 division was a 24.5.
We see a report's already been put up in chat, and as my good friend Stars would say, it would be a thick report.
A thick report. Yeah, well, I agree with you 100% in that representation of Stars. Jacob in the Alfa Romeo. We've yet to see much from the Alfa Romeos in this session, but he is about to show us something potentially here. A little squirrely coming out of 15, but what is it going to be to the line? 10th position at 25.3. What a competitive lineup we are seeing right now. From first down to 14th position, 1.2 seconds the gap. And I mean, from first down to 10th, well, to 12th, it's 6 tenths. Okay? The 13th, it's 6 tenths. You make a mistake, it's another one, you know, and it's just going to be a wild exchange in this campaign. I love it. I love it. Intensity is building. You feel it?
Well,
I feel it.
I feel it as well. The smoke is starting to rise, and you have to be on it every session, won't you? No mistakes. That's the main thing. Just limiting mistakes. If you limit mistakes, there's a chance you will get some solid points. Rhapsody now. He's starting his second run. Just about. He needs to get this down because, well, obviously we saw before his incident with Sales. That's going to cost him a run. It's going to cost him a bit of momentum going forward in this qualifying session, but we'll see what he can claw back. B-Man through the second sector. There's Fizzymon, his teammate, getting out of the way.
I think that was a bit of a missed opportunity.
Yeah, that's what I'm thinking as well. He's just over the right side. He could have given him a friendly toe. That's the spot to do it as well. No DRS, as you said earlier, down that straight.
He's on his way in.
B-Man is pulling out. That's probably why.
You put your hand up when you drive by your teammate doing that, I think, if you're on a flyer, right?
Yeah. Put your hand up. Anything to show that you're there, you're sorry. You could have given him a little bit of a toe, but it's always something to build on as I see him go by. 15 races. You know, results count more than they normally do than the real life 20 or originally 24 race season. But we're not gonna. I don't think we'll be getting that striff.
Quite the distance Rhapsody right now. It looks as though he's getting another set lap in here. We saw what happened last time between him and Sales. Rhapsody pushing down through into turn 14. What can the Mercedes do this evening? He's looking to improve on a 26.056. And yes, he will fly across the line, rear wing wide open. What's the lap going to be? Oh. And another one into the 24's Seb. 24.869.
It's first to 16 separated by less than a second, so expect these guys to be well and truly in it. I believe that some drivers aren't really showing the true pace they have as well, so it's all to play for here.
Jumping on board now with TJ Spin, yet to set a time. He's in the Aston Martin, of course, and while we go on board with him, I just want to take our attention to some of the statistics from the Tier 3 campaign earlier. Of course, we saw an Alfa Romeo, last night, my apologies, from the Tier 2 division. Of course, we're in the Americas. Last night, it was an Alfa Romeo 1-2. Right now, we're seeing the Alfa Romeos, Jacob 12th, Tholtz 20th position. Now, we saw Jimsy in the McLaren, 3rd position finishing last night. Siffy's here showing great form in the McLarens. You can see him there. He's on the front row provisionally, and he is on the move now. I don't know how this is going to shake things up, but there is a combined Constructors' Championship at play.
Yeah, that always makes things interesting because now it's a massive team effort to see how well you can let your constructors do. It's all down to working together. You know, you have guys not racing who would or might be helping drivers in the same team. You tend to see that with the combined structures. It tends to bring people together, and it's great to see. Also, it makes for rather awesome competition. TJ Spin now, a lot of mistakes this lap, but still set the purple first sector. Looks like this will be a low 25s, high 24s, and it is a high 24. He's popped himself into P7.
Good run there, all things said and done. Just to get that run on the board, he gets himself into that sub 125 level with the 24.908. And of course, Tholtz, he has yet to set a time. He is pushing into turn 8, and the Alfa Romeo, he's going to be coming through a lot of traffic potentially here as drivers begin their runs.
Yeah, and that's never a good thing, obviously. Sometimes there can be a little bit of dirty air involved. Not a lot in this game. It's around 20-25% downforce loss, I believe, when following a car behind closely. But it's more the fact that you tend to lose your eye and then they can distract you a fair bit. Just seeing that car there can throw these guys off their game just a tad. You see that car ahead of Holtz just weaving, getting some temperature into his tyres. That's an Aston Martin. I believe that would be Zamis. Holtz rounds the final corner. Shiffium, we'll see what he puts up. It's looking like a low 25s at the moment.
Solid run there. 25.273 out of the Alfa Romeo.
Oh, there we go. TJ Spin. We just got tipped off earlier by Guzzi. He said he was very, very fast, and that's showing it right there. 2-lap old softs. Gone for 2 straight laps in a row. So you expect... Oh, Fritzen's popped it as well. So this is getting exciting.
This is a serious shootout that we're witnessing right now. All eyes on Becky B, the reigning champion. He's got a lot of fans looking to see where he'll stand at the end of this. Of course, Karma Lesson, 3rd position for him at 24.721. Man, are things ever tightening up? Siffy to the line, 3rd position for him. The McLaren at 24.691. My oh my, where's Lucas Yan in all of this? He's purple through sector 1. We'll check in with him momentarily. Becky B now coming into turn 11.
Oh, Striff. The smoke isn't rising anymore. It's blazing. Watch out for Rhapsody in the middle of the track. That's going to ruin his lap. I believe Rhapsody might have been in an AI state. Might have retired on track. I'm not sure though, but that is absolutely ruined Becky's chances at a pole position.
Not entirely sure what to say about that. He has a checkered flag drawn right now for him. Damas, a 24.595 for provisional pole. In the Aston Martin, Fritzen, I don't believe he's running again. Of course, he just crossed the line. He's not improving. He's on his in-lap. TJ in-lap. Siffy's on his in-lap. Who is going to beat this time? And what the heck happened to Becky B and Rhapsody there?
Oh, the only thing I can think of, Strip, is a potential retiring on track. That's what we might see the checkered flag next to his name, but I'm not entirely sure, to be honest with you. So it's just very weird.
Karma
Don't normally...
Lesson. Sorry to
Oh,
interrupt.
look at Samus as well.
Yeah, Zamis. Well, he jumped Fritzen. Karma Lesson, though, that 510 really putting that Alpine in front of things right now. My, oh my. This has been a very fast qualifying grid. Look at the times. From first position down to 19th, it is a second of separation. Sales 4/10 off. And we have ourselves one heck of a race about to unfold here in Bahrain for the first round of the Americas Tier 1 division. And I have to say, as my former teammate, Mr. Zamis, get in there.
Get in there indeed. Feels so bad for Becky B because his lap looked really good at one stage, but perhaps they're coming across in the middle of turn 11 and 12. That's never going to do yourself good. Karma gets pole with a outstanding lap, to be honest with you, considering he is nearly a 10th in front of Samus, your teammate. The owner, the big man, Fritzen follows in P3. He'll be looking to improve on that. He showed some great race pace at the end of last season, and TJ Spin to a good time as well on 2-lap-old soft tyres. So he'll be starting with a slight disadvantage, Striffium, but nevertheless, he's showing some good pace as well.
Well, let us know in the chat who you've got for the win here. Things are so tight, I don't know who is going to be on the top step. The race start is going to be absolutely crucial here. DRS can play such a significant role. But let's take a look at this grid now. Karma Lesson, the Alpine, a 24.510, just shy of a 10th in front of the founder, Mr. Zamis, there lining up on the front row next to him in the Aston Martin. And then we have Fritzen rounding out the top three here in the qualifying at 24.614, and he is a 10th off of Karma Lesson, and things are quite tight all the way down to, well, let's say 12th position. It is about half a second of separation. If you blink or you make a mistake, you are going to be under threat. And what a grid do we have here.
Oh, what a grid indeed, and like you said, a little mistake can cost you so much. Just the slightest missed apex is worth about 300 of a second, and you know, right there, that is a position looking at some of the spacings on this grid.
Well, we're going to have a formation lap, of course, and once we finish formation, it will be 5 red lights, and then when things go dark, the action will ensue. 30 seconds is all the drivers have between the qualifying loading screen and, of course, the formation lap to get their setups and strategies dialed in, because somebody was pretty itchy on the trigger finger, I think, Seb.
Yeah, it looks like I've already got the sign symbol going, so not a lot of time to get their fuel ready. Obviously, they'd have to, this game, you don't get to change your fuel mix during the race, unless there's a safety car, of course. So you need to be doing practice runs prior to the race, figuring out how much fuel you are using per lap, and then obviously accounting for that in the setup screens that are provided to the drivers before the formation lap starts. But here we go. Strategy seems it's pretty straightforward, Striffium. Only one soft runner outside of the top 10, the rest on medium. So that's a good sign of things to come. The strategy tonight is a soft medium or a soft hard, depending on whether you can get those mediums to go and have pace on those mediums at the end of the race. Or if you have comfort in those hards throughout these tricky little technical sessions we have here. 5, 6, 7 come to mind. 1, 2, 3 as well.
Well, there's a prediction in the chat. You can throw some channel points in there if you so wish. Will the pole sitter, Karma Lesson, win this race? Yes or no? Simple as that. And channel points in there for some fun. Oh, this is going to be a very, very serious showdown. And Tholtz here on that soft compound tire in that back 10. I see myself in him. That's what I would do. That's what I would do. Bold strategy.
Well, when you think of it, right, he's going to be on those soft tires. They're fresh, just like those medium runners, but he should. The aim for him is trying to get into that, top DRS train. Because if he can get in there, there's a chance he could come into play later in the race. Now, if you could just jog my memory, what is the safety car rate set to?
So we're running and operating a standard safety car frequency in the Misfits Racing League Season 5.
Yep. So chances are we will see a safety car, considering there are a bit of hot zones around here. Turn 2 and 3 come to mind. Turn 4, you can see some guys drop it. As I mentioned, turn 7 and turn 12 are very good spots to lose a car. So hopefully we don't see any safety cars. We can just see some clean racing and some good strategy. But I don't know. It's time for Bahrain as we wait for Sales Yamamoto to form up Striff.
Well, Carmen Lesson, the lead Alpine Sales, well, he's taken up the rear of this grid, and everyone in between is just here for the show, it would seem. No, of course not. Aston Martin on the front row, and here we have it. 3, 4, 5 red lights here in Bahrain. Their engines are revving, and things have gone dark, and the lights are out as we are off the line. Fritzen with a supercharged run on Zamis already, and everyone getting their best possible run into turn 1 here. Siffy with a very good shot. He's already with Zamis, and TJ's on the rear. The two Aston Martins 4 and 5 right now. Siffy and Fritzen really getting through with a good race start. Lucas Yan and B-Man are having an exchange, and very late on the brakes is Lucas, nearly into the rear of Rez, who's wheel-to-wheel with Becky B in 7th position. What a race start this has been, an explosive race start at that, so much exchanging. Angel and B-Man for 9th position right now, exchanging. Angel on the inside of turn 8.
Yeah, good starts all around, relatively clean, a bit of wheel banging throughout all of this first sector and into the second, but the only casualty really was Maxine B dropping it out of turn 2 into turn 3. You can see him all the way down on the track map, but some good racing so far. Very crucial for these medium runners to get some pace, get some heat in the tyres, because they're going to need it, especially in the coming lap. Soft will really ramp up.
Ooh, a very neat move up the inside. Rhapsody for turn 11. Jacob right now trying to get a switchback opportunity. Jacob on the medium compound tires, following tight through turn 13. Does he have enough of an exit? He's utilizing that battery, pushing hard. Nobody's going to give an inch in this race. You can sense it now.
Nah. Yeah, exactly. Massive a whole tease up, 4 positions. Rapidy's had the worst start.
Karma
He's down to Angel.
Oh, excuse me. That's a timing bug.
Yeah. Angel's up on position, so he's doing good on those medium tires. It's his goal to stay within DRS range of these front ones, which is very likely. As you can see, they're very tightly packed, and leaderboard's just done a bit of games to me, but looks like it'll sort it out for us.
Yeah, hopefully it sorts itself out soon, as I'm seeing Carmelis being shown blue flags. I hope those aren't going to give him any grief.
Ooh. Sorry, Striff, but Becky B is getting into a bit of tangle. He's dropped a lot of positions with a bit of a tangle up with Rez and Lucas, I believe, into turn 4. And now he's down, dropped into P9. So Becky B's on a good start. He had a good launch, but he just got himself into some bad positions, and you can see himself drop down the field, and it's the last thing he wanted. So his night's not gone too well for him so far.
This has been a very, very intense race start for everybody on this grid. If you look at the track map, there really hasn't been a massive amount of separation. We're on the second lap. We're about to jump into DRS action as well. Everybody trying to hold tight with battery. The drivers that are pushing the battery might just be the ones who might find themselves at a loss later down the line. And what has happened, Johnny's had an issue coming out of turn 12, just ahead of turn 13 now. Babatunde not going to be thrilled.
Looks like to point out Fritzen. He's showing some good pace, sticking well with Karma. So those two are very likely to pull away with it, especially if Siffy's not using his DRS, which he barely is. He was sitting with 100% at the end of turn 13. So he needs to start utilizing that. Otherwise, Fritzen and Karma are going to run away with it, which it looks like they already have. Already 1.2 seconds ahead in that first DRS zone.
Getting some good camera views right now. Everyone very tight in formation here. Cap to leader not giving us a proper representation right now. Oh, what's happened now? Ferrari is in the gravel trap just coming through turn 5. That's Fizzymon, unfortunately.
Yeah, might have dropped that through turn 4, try to correct it, as it might have snapped right and then pulled the steering wheel left, and it's gone and swapped ends on him. Bit of a tank slap up, but still a long way to go. I don't know, a safety car can save your race, very likely around here.
Becky B carefully just biding his time, I feel, on the rear of Rez and B-Man here, but Rez and B-Man very quick in their own right here. Becky B mentioned it to me earlier. Tier 1, a different beast this season than last time through.
Well, as you know, we have some names here, and Zamis has certainly improved. He's got to move on Siffy with DRS down into turn 1. Siffy's still not using that ERS. He's coming under threat to TJ spin strip.
Yeah, the Aston Martin's looking to do a little bit of teamwork here. A little bit of door opening from Zamis there. TJ now, he's got a job to do, and that's to keep Siffy under pressure potentially, and he's doing a good job of it. Turn 4 on the inside right now. Siffy holding well. Great traction for him still. We're not at the point where these softs are going to die off just yet, and just in the rear of them now, Rhapsody moving ahead of Angel. We're going to switch on back over to Lucas Jan, who's on the rear of TJ. And TJ needs to be careful he doesn't take too many blown opportunities, because if he does, it will be a risk for him to lose out to Lucas.
Yeah, TJ really needs to get on with it.
Becky B, hold the phone. Excuse me there, Seb. Rez and Becky B through 11.
Ooh.
Becky on the inside says hello. And there's a good move from the reigning champ in the Williams.
Bit of shoving, bit of hard racing. Don't mind that sometimes, as long as it's not too drastic. Nice move from Becky. Very, I wouldn't say opportunistic, but smart. Need to get that done, and he needs to get on with it to catch up to this P3 battle drift.
Yeah, Becky B not going to be happy about the fact that he has lost a couple of positions in this race. So has Rez, in all fairness. And they are going to be pushing with everything they can. Rez right now has the DRS, but Tholtzman, well, there's the legend himself from Hungary. He's pushing Rez with everything he's got right now to put up a little bit of a contest. And Becky B is going to be watching this in his rearview mirror with a slight smile, most definitely.
Oh, these guys aren't giving each other an inch. They were touching each other into the braking zone, into turning. It's just some tough racing. Zaris gets a penalty. It's not what you want to see early on. He's going to have to tidy up, keep those 4 wheels within all track limits in order to make sure he's not losing any more positions as the race goes on.
One thing to note right now, if you take a look at this grid, it is 11 soft runners to the 9 medium runners on this timing tower, and in a matter of laps, the entirety of this grid is going to shuffle, which is going to present a seriously dynamic situation for a lot of these drivers. Very, very variable scenarios are about to ensue on this grid.
Interesting enough, Zamis, the Aston, P3, he's used up a lot of that ERS just trying to catch up to Fritz and Karma, something Siffy should have done, but now Siffy's going to be putting Zamis under pressure. He's sitting with so much ERS drift that he's just bathing in it right now. He is soaked in that, and he's loving it probably right now.
Well, look at how tight things are on this grid, and you look at Zamis with that 3 seconds, you know, it's early. Here's Siffy now with a gradual move off to the outside as we come into turn 1, and that's just an easy as you like move. TJ spin, he's kind of... What's your role in this situation, TJ?
Oh, he's going to come under pressure now from Lucas. Lucas going to absolutely mega run, and that was all because of that little squabble with Zamis. Zamis didn't pick the right line down the inside. TJ's trying to hold it. Lucas might get that superior traction through 4, 5, and into 6. They're going side by side. This is dangerous. They touch, but Lucas comes out on top, and TJ is being caught napping strip.
Yeah, that's really, really bad for the Aston Martin. The Mercedes is now ahead, and we have B-Man there in very close proximity, looking up the rear end as we come through turn 10. B-Man, does he have an exit here? Well, TJ, fortunate for him, he does have a little bit of that DRS now at his disposal to keep well with Jan. And now we come into turn 11, and nobody is going to be parking it up the inside right here, right now.
Especially into turn 12. TJ looks like he's slightly all over the shot right now. Might be feeling the pressure. He certainly would be. See, pressure, something you put on yourself, and right now when you lose a position like that, getting caught off guard, that's the blood start to curl up and you start to get a bit hot-tempered. He needs to find that rhythm though, and he'll certainly find himself on the good ends of things later down the track.
EJ potentially looking for a move here. Zamis looking for a move on Siffy just ahead. Zamis ahead of the McLaren. Where is TJ? Not with Lucas just yet, but Zamis. A little bit of contact there. This has really compromised the McLaren, and Lucas has just bumped through the McLaren.
Not keeping an eye on things. B-Man's got an opportunity now. He'll back out of the move. But wow, that's what happens when you're not paying attention. Zamis and Siffy tangling up into turn 2. Lucas was not reading that well, and he just runs to the back of them. Oh, that's going to be a tough one to call.
Yeah, I'm not entirely sure what to make of that right now. Stewards, of course, they have a little bit more at their disposal this season with the replay systems. So they're going to have a look. And thank God for that, because I don't know what to make of that on the live end here. But we're going to take a look at B-Man, currently doing some work to try and keep up with TJ. And, well, Siffy now, a soft runner, a little bit of a odd man out in that midfield. We have Maxim, who came in for that hard compound. He's the first driver on this 20 racer grid to come in.
Yeah. Maxime will have to go to the end. He's making a gamble, just trying to save his race, but he's not betting on a safety car, which is fair enough. You play the long game, don't play the short game. Don't try and, for example, underfuel, thinking that a safety car would come out, and then having to end up lifting and coasting as the race goes on because you've underfueled expecting a safety car. Never bet on something that you don't know will happen. But unfortunate for Siffy, he's in a really bad spot on those older softs in the middle of some medium runners. Not a lot of pace in those softs at this stage. Angel getting a move on Rez at the moment, and it looks like those mediums are superiorly faster at the moment.
If you're Rez, do you come in? Do you try and undercut here? You know, do you have a little bit of information? Maybe the soft runner's not too far ahead of you. Don't have that first-hand experience of. Look at this. Jacob now, he's also pushing Rez. And there's contact between the pair of them. I'm not entirely sure what to make of that, but they've both come off and they've gone round. Jacob, 14th position. He will recover on track just ahead of Johnny here. And, well, where's Rez? He's behind his teammate Siffy. The McLarens, they're not having a good night.
Yeah, to see Neon in the chat, McLaren in the mud. Yet they are in the mud. 2 pieces of incidents have resulted them out of the points in 16th and 17th. Oh, it's terrible for them. It started off looking so good and it's just gone so bad, and that's what can happen when you're not switched on entirely. It's very hard fighting through 6 and 7, so normally you want to play long game, as I said before, and just try and stay out of accidents, but no, that hasn't happened so far.
Well, Lucas Yan pulling the trigger, ladies and gentlemen. Soft runner is in, and he's doing that with good... Oh, hold on, I thought I saw Rhapsody pit for a moment there, but it was Stoltz as well. TJ spin, excuse me, we just saw it on board with B-Man. He came off of the curbing through 2, and he's staring at the other... drivers passing him by. Phoenix Bomateo now. He's pushed into 8th. And there goes Sejoss as well.
Well, Spin, living up to his name, spinning at turn 2, but I think now's the time to pit. It's going to see a bit of strategy calls now, where some drivers will switch over to the hards, or go out a bit longer and go into the mediums. The mediums will go about 18, 19 laps, depending on how hard you push them. So, interesting calls. What do you feel more comfortable with?
Very good question. Very good question. And Lucas now onto the hard compound tires. Variety of drivers on the hard compound tires. We haven't seen any swaps to the medium yet off of these softs. I wonder if we'll see that for some of these drivers in the front. Ritson, Carmelesson. Maybe even Becky B, B-Man, Zamis, of course, Rhapsody. Who's this now? Carmelesson on his way in. See what he puts on, and it is a set of medium compound tires for an Aston Martin and the Alpine, so they're both coming in for the mediums.
Well, interesting here. Karma will be might have to do a bit of tire saving later on in the race if he is to make sure those mediums last. He would obviously be doing practice runs and knows that they would last, but nevertheless they will be under a bit of duress by end of the race. Fytron now, that's the big call for him. Will he stay out a bit longer, try and make those soft last, lose a bit of time to Karma? He will get undercutted, but he will be playing, certainly committing to the long game and pushing hard on those medium tires till the end of the race.
Definitely. One thing to note here, Lucas between Karma Lesson and Zamis right now, the gap 2.3 between Lucas and Zamis, and then we have a bit of separation there. Fizimon between Zamis and Stoltz. Stoltz is on those fresher hards. Johnny looking at Yama into turn 11, thinking better of it.
A nice bit of patience there from Johnny. Obviously had that spin earlier, but still finding himself in a decent position, not a great position. He's provisionally outside of the top 10 at the moment, but still got a ways to go, so never know what could happen. A safety car right now could very much put him into play for points. But you never know. Never know. Fytron has caught it into the pitch, so has B-Man and Becky B. So starting to see the games now. Here comes Johnny on the inside of Yama. Yama trying to defend, but just doesn't have that speed that Johnny does with that DRS. They will fight it through turns 1 into 2. They're going side by side. Saw this with Siffy and Zamis. Didn't end up too well, but this time it's ended fine. Yamamoto with the DRS down the inside into turn 4. Johnny, as it blinks back, he's turning on Yama. Yama's gone a bit too deep, and he's pushing Johnny off drift. Here they go into turn 5.
What wild action we're seeing here in the first sector. There's contact. Johnny coming through turn 5. Yama has gone round.
Oh, that's why you never want to see fighting into turn 5, 6, and 7, because it always never ends well. You have to give so much space just to account for drivers understeering off, or maybe touching the curb and moving over to the other driver on the outside line for each corner, but it just never ends well. You have to get positioning sorted out beforehand, otherwise high chance of incidents. Lucky enough, I don't think any of the driver got damaged though, so
That's going to be a tough situation there. A little bit of burned rubber for Yama, but he is going to be nearing the end of that stint. And of course, just a massive shout out to everybody who's supporting in the chat. Thank you so much for the subscriptions, everyone, as well. And of course, if you're just tuning in, we're on lap 12 of 29. This is the America's Tier 1 division of the Misfits Racing League. My name is Stryfium, and joining me is my good man Seb from the Land Down Under. Siffy into the pit lane here as we move through lap 12 as Fytron says hello to Lucas on the medium compound tires with a neat move into turn 1.
Well, Karma's either had an absolutely brilliant lap, or Fytron's been held up in the pits by B-Man and Becky B, who pitted the same lap as him, because there's no way he should be that far off after one lap of medium running for Karma.
Moto hunting down Zamis a little bit right now as he is nearing the end of that stint as well. Zamis pushing through to try and keep with Lucas. Rhapsody, one thing to note, he's on Stoltz quite well, and he's just set purple sector 1 in the Mercedes. He's on the fresh set of mediums in that car. A lot of little battles happening. We have a few different trios and some duels unfolding. B-Man now pushing through ahead of Yama on the fresh mediums, and Becky B's right there as well. Let's take a look along with the Williams, as he'll want to keep up with B-Man. Well, he does not want to waste any time with Yama, does he?
Nah, ideally he could get a good run here. Just stick side by side, don't get ERS. Oh, Yama's gone off anyway, so looks like Becky B will get ERS from B-Man, which is a good thing. B-Man has almost no ERS to his name. Flashing red light at the back of his car, signaling that to Becky B that, you know, Becky B can push a little. Maybe go in the back of him. He's got some good straight line speed here.
Got a very good straight line. Look at B-Man. No rear wing open. Is Becky going to drop it in? No, he doesn't. Johnny, Karma lesson. Well, what's happened? Johnny Excuse me, Johnny has spun coming out through turn 3.
Oh, another victim at turn 2. But you can tell Becky B will be lining up a move on B-Man, but problem is Zamis up ahead. B-Man's got DRS to him, so Zamis has dropped off the pace here. I wonder if he's been involved with a little incident. Doesn't look like it. His front wing's relatively clean. Maybe just not finding the pace when those medium tires drift.
Not entirely sure what to make of it, but of course pit won't be long.
Yeah, right now Becky B actually he's had a good race so far, considering had a bit of a poor start, opening couple of laps, so I'm dropped down to P9, but looks like at the moment he's in provisional P6, and with Zamis' penalty, he's sitting in P5 right now, so the defending champion, some of his campaign with the P5 finish wouldn't be too bad, to be honest with you.
Well, he told me Bahrain isn't the strongest of his circuits, and it's a 15-round championship, not a one-round championship, so not all would be lost, and P5 is nothing to be frustrated with, but of course we're just crossing over to that threshold of the halfway point.
Consistency is key. That tends to be a theme. Zamis not being very consistent. He's lost it out of turn 2, and that's allowed B-Man and Becky the easiest run in him through turn 3 on the run to turn 4.
27.9 right now, the fastest lap, and we just saw the gap to leader. Things still very tight in this grid as Zamis, that issue not going to help him. That penalty not going to help him even worse yet.
Yeah, Johnny's just called it into the pits. He's called it a day. He's retiring on track. TJ Spin, all the way in P19. He had some great pace, but just didn't look like it's come together for him. Obviously involved in an accident spinning, but there's always next week for him. You said 15 races in this season, always can come back, but what's interesting here, Zamis is well and truly dropped off from the back of Becky B and B-Man. All eyes on Jacob and CEST right now, battling out to P3.
Yamamoto has crashed, coming outside of turn 12, just ahead of turn 13 here, and that is a yellow flag. But nothing else as a result, it would seem. Two drivers out of this race. Becky B clearing B-Man into turn 1.
Is off the track, so that will get a safety car for that. But turn 12, hot spot. Expect it to potentially maybe grab these top 4 if they're not careful on these older medium tires, nearing the end of their life. And at the end of the race, especially expect it. If these guys pushing limits on older tires, trying to get whatever points they can.
Ross Jacob right now 3 and 4 under, well, second through 4th. With Karma not too far behind now. He's actually attached himself to this train, I do believe. Does he have the DRS? No. Yeah, 27.688, the fastest lap on the mediums.
Well, right now, what's crucial for Fytron is that he can hope Karma gets caught up in this traffic heavily and get into a couple of battles through some technical sessions. That way Fytron can maybe grab back some time. He's low on ERS, and he does have Lucas behind on those hard tires, 2 laps older. Nevertheless, he's doing a good job to keep up in the DRS. That's helping him so far. Here comes Karma though.
Very tight move here. He looks for the inside, Karma. Nothing doing just yet for Jacob. Potentially turn 4. Look at the speed he's carrying over the 15-lap-old, now soon to be 16-lap-old mediums around the outside of turn 4 for Karma. Lesson on Jacob. Jacob isn't just going to roll over. Very tight held position there for Jacob, but Karma gets through in the end.
Jacob wisely backing out through 5 and 6, knew who to fight, when to fight, and what this has meant is Fytron's now gained a second on the car's head just from that fighting, so that's what I mean. Now, Fytron might get a bit lucky here because we might see Karma So.
Oh, Maxim is out of this race. The Red Bull just coming outside turn 3 here. On the... Oh, that's
And
a
there's the
safety
safety
car.
car.
That is a safety car deployed. And this is really going to shake things up now.
Well, Arnhel, the major beneficiary of this, he is 7.6 seconds ahead of the rest of the field, and he gets a free pit stop. Now, normally under non-safety car conditions, it's worth around 22 to 23 seconds, but on the pit stop, it's going to be worth around 17 with this safety car. So there's a chance he'll come out right next to Becky B, maybe even Zamis, but a lot of drivers pitting. Even Karma's in the pits, so he'll be looking probably to hop onto the softs potentially and take those to the end.
That's a very, very, very interesting situation. Maxim there crashing on the inside of turn 3. Not sure what happened. There is now a safety car. Lap 17. Rhapsody is actually leading things ahead of Angel. He's on 6-lap old mediums.
Yeah, I'm not sure about Rhapsody's call.
Well, I don't know about softs here either.
Softs. The thing with softs is that they should last to the end. It's just whether they have the pace over fresh mediums, for example. We see Zamis and Holtz there, but the softs will be so much better for those first 6-7 laps of green flag racing that it's almost just better to go onto them anyway, because
I think Zamis has
you're
made
in a lot
good
of
decision here. And Holtz.
yeah.
I know some people will disagree with me, but I genuinely think that they have made a good decision just on the level that they're going to have fresh mediums where the softs will lose an edge. So if they can keep up with the soft runners on those mediums, they'll be all right. I could be wrong. I could be wrong.
I disagree with you. I
Well,
just disagree with your
we'll
fact
fight
that
about it then.
less fuel loads. We'll fight about it. Let's fight about it. Let's fight about it right now. Like I said, lower fuel loads. It's more enticing to go on the softs because they will last to the end. So, and like I said, those first 6-7 laps, Zamis and Holtz are gonna have to drive out of their minds to be able to keep up with these fresher softs, which is about 6/10 a lap. So, you know, it's those first 2 laps that are going to be very crucial for Zamis and Holtz to make sure that their tires are up to temperature. Otherwise, they will be eating dust.
Well, Florian coming across with a point that I usually bring up myself, and that's that safety cars, and I've said it to you in the past, have a good potential to create situations for more safety cars.
Yeah, it's facts actually. Safety car breeds safety car. You say that all the time, I'm pretty sure. Or was that unicorn? I'm not actually sure.
No, I say it all the time, and he brings it up all the time that I say it all the
He
time.
brings it up all the time.
All the time.
Well, it's a very good point because it brings the field closer together, obviously, and you know, overlap strategies bring strategies together, and you tend to see battling, and that tends to lead to more incidents, and more incidents lead to all safety cars. It's good thinking. So it's very possible here. Rhapsody, I expect, will fall down the field 7-lap old mediums compared to, you know, the rest of the field who are on a lot fresher tires. You know, Sales here out on 3-lap old hards. You should really see him pit. Same with TJ Spin. But you know, never know what can happen. Never know what can happen. I mean, it's the same for every race. You try to play the long game, but some things can pop up in you, and they can either be a benefit or they can be a detriment. And as you can see, Arnhel, Joss, massive benefits of this safety car on those soft tires. Started outside the top 10 on mediums, and
Rez
were
has a
able
drive-through.
to.
I missed that.
Who?
Excuse me. Rez has a drive-through penalty in the McLaren.
I'm gonna check what that's for right now. I did not see that as well.
Well, I was gonna say that I did not see that, and I am wondering what the heck he took that for.
I think speeding during the delta possibly. That's the only thing you can get it for. I expect that maybe the delta might have resetted him. It's very possible in this game that it happens. He's just not the delta, but I'm actually not sure why he would have it other than maybe a delta, because it's something you'd see under the VSC safety car in this lap, as we do have all 17 running cars near each other in the queue. As the lights have turned off, but yeah, that's an odd one.
Well, a lot of eyes on the top front runners right now, Rhapsody, Angel, and CEST, but you take a look at Becky B there, he's in 9th position. Very hungry. And I imagine we'll see a rocket launch from a lot of these racers on the rear of Rhapsody here, as he is on the older tires.
Looks like Rhapsody might have gone, and he has.
Yeah, everybody breaks away with him. Who's had the best launch? Karma Lesson looking at CEST quite tight. Not utilizing much battery right now. Everybody getting a bit of a weave on there. Karma Lesson, a bit of momentum carrying him through the turn. A bit of contact. He's actually going to get robbed by Jacob here. Where's Fytron? He's on the outside as we come through 3. What a move. Very good opportunity taken there. Becky. He's moving through into turn 4. Very late on the brakes. Karma Lesson and Lucas. Oh, wow. Contact there with the Mercedes for Karma Lesson. Becky B nets a position.
Oh, it didn't look like that ended up too well with the line Karma took, but it did look like either Lucas or Fytron did him any favors as well, kind of just turning across him. That might get looked at as well, but oh, Karma was looking so good, and then just got caught out on the curb at turn 1. Then he lost traction, and he just lost all the positions into turn 4, and obviously involved in that incident, he's gone tumbling down, but that's the worst possible start to the safety car race that possible. Angel is all over the back of Rhapsody's drift.
Yeah, it's a serious duel between these two right now. Rhapsody holding on for dear life on these mediums. Look at Angel's traction. Oh my, look at this move. The Red Bull.
You know what I'm going to say. Oh. You know what I'm going to say. Put that to music, because that was a brilliant switchback. He knew he had the grip on those old medium tires with those fresh shots, and he just took that P1 position. Brilliant stuff from Angel.
That was nice stuff right there from him. Now, Rhapsody is in all sorts of trouble here. CEST in the Haas. No DRS yet in the race for these drivers after the safety car. But man, is this train on the rear of the Mercedes looking seriously hungry for that position. Jacob, Fytron, Lucas, Becky. I mean, the whole train is here. Everyone's here, and you've got Zamis and Tholtz there, a couple of medium runners in the mix as well.
Well, Keith Angel may have done a brilliant move, but, you know, needs to get a move on, needs to get that 1 second gap and more, and he's already building it. Look at that. Angel is really pulling away through that middle sector. He's already got a second strip. He's already got a second, so he's well and truly clear of DRS. CEST needs to get a move on now. He needs to go for a move sooner rather than later. CEST over the back of Rhapsody. Still waiting though, still biding his time, which you prefer rather than going for an extremely rash move and potentially losing it. Much if Angel wasn't able to get that move done on Rhapsody, that might have turned out for the worst, but you never know. Jacob is really over the back of CEST, so Jacob with the run, he's using the ERS. Bit of an odd spot to use it, but he's having a go nonetheless. Looking down the inside into 14, through 15, but not making anything of it. So Constantino up again, Angel with the fastest lap as he needs to be. Getting a move on CEST. Looking for the move in the slipstream. Not using that DRS yet.
Look at this dive from Fytron here. He's just pushing with everything he can as well, and everyone taking some risks now.
Risks indeed. Lucas down the inside of Fritzen's drift.
CEST and Rhapsody. Yeah, the Mercedes are getting into some action now as they want to get themselves to the front of the equation. What wild, hard racing we have seen tonight in this Tier 1 division. And you know what? It's something you love to see. A little bit of elbows out never hurt anybody in these races. And I think a lot of these drivers are... There's a good chunk of these racers that have already gone to battle before. You know, there's some drivers on this grid that have raced one another many a time.
It's good to see. If you can know what your competitors are going to do, then you can always put on a great show, and that's what we're kind of getting right here. Jacob having a look into 13. I didn't see that, but he's got the pace on Rhapsody, obviously. Those tyres aren't doing Rhapsody any good. Like I said, I don't think that strategy call was good, but I think, as you said, Zamis and Holtz looking really good. Ooh, Rhapsody getting a bit edgy with Jacob, and Fritzen's going to be... Sorry, Lucas and Fytron might be allowed a free run on Jacob here, Striff.
One thing here. all this action. You know, if you get even one step wrong when things are this tight, you're gonna move back. Look at Fytron right now. Becky is right here. Becky's all over this. These guys are not going to give anyone any breathing room. Lucas and Rhapsody with an exchange. Jacob's there on the inside of the Mercedes. He's going to push through with everything he's got into turn 5 right now. A little bit of contact. That's the Mercedes. Oh my, and that's Jacob as well. Unreal.
You'd think they'd start learning from turn 5 and 6 and 7, all those instances going into it, but that's just poor racing. You could see it happening as well. They're really getting their elbows out into turn 14. Previously in the lap before, Rhapsody just turned straight across Jacob, and then it's just all falling apart in the next lap. Becky B, Fytron, they've just gobbled that up. They're into P4 and P5, and I was about to say before this all happened, Becky B wasn't sitting in the greatest positions because he was just sitting behind all of them while they gobbled up DRS, and he wasn't able to get any moves done. But them fighting has actually caused some incidents, and it's allowed him all the way up into P5 now.
This has been a very, very, well, thrilling race, to say the least. There's been so much action. What's happened here? Jacob again, feeling the effects of the issue already. Coming through 13. Lucas and CEST. Lucas pushing for second position. CEST now in third. Fytron is there. Becky is there. And this top 5. Actually, the top 6, no penalties. Zamis is there with a penalty, holding a big train behind him as well.
Interesting to see is we haven't seen a lot of games in the turn 1. I'm surprised with that detection point at the end of that main straight that we haven't seen a bit of early braking just to maybe get that DRS, but nevertheless, guys trying to get some track position on each other. You'd expect it that they wouldn't try and play games sometimes, but there's 7 more laps to go, Triff, and it's really heating up, isn't it?
Oh, it is really heating. I thought it was hot when we started. It's really boiling up now, and well, Fytron, really one of the drivers we've got eyes on as he's sitting on CEST. He's got Lucas right there. Is he going to get himself into these podium places? Is Becky going to get himself into these podium places? These guys are on the softs, and I want to see something else, and that is whether or not these mediums gain an edge, get a little bit of a razor sharp edge over these softs.
Tell you what, they're doing a good job. Holtz is just holding on. No, he's actually not.
Fytron,
DRS.
Becky. Oh, is it ever tight through turn 1 right now? Fytron had that inside line. Becky says, I want that one through turn 2. Fytron, DRS on the rear of CEST, of course, but Becky is right there. And look at the traction. Look at the speed on the exit coming out of Becky B. And he is getting the fireworks primed and ready to go at the Williams garage, because look at the move coming out of Becky B on Fytron. And we've seen these two do battle before. Now Fytron looking to the inside, but Becky B 4th position for now, and what lovely battling between these two.
Great racing. Great, hands down, arms to the wall, elbows out racing right there. Neither giving an inch and keeping it clean at the same time. That is top-notch racing. I'll say again, top-notch racing, because those are 2 top drivers giving it their all and giving massive respect to each other.
Yeah, you love the respect on track. You love the racecraft. You love when the space is left on the track. And here we have TJ Spin now. He's hunting down Tholtz. Tholtz right now, he's moved up a variety of positions in this race. He started things a little bit further back. He's about to come under threat, however, for that final point. TJ says hello and goodbye up the inside into turn 14. Tholtz with a huge dive on the brakes says, I want to come back around. He might have gone a little too deep there. And TJ's there, and look at this. Karma Lesson says, I don't know about that one, my friend. Karma Lesson on the inside. Tholtz, we saw him late on the brakes a moment ago. He's still there with Karma.
See Barma and Siffy. Siffy's found himself back up to P8. They're looking like they're about to get their battle on. Doesn't look like they're getting to Vega as well. Barma just sitting behind Siffy, not going for an opportunistic move through turn 4 through.
Amazing racing we've seen today, yesterday. Of course, this is our 4th campaign now in Bahrain this week. We've got 3 more coming up, Tier 2 tomorrow, Tier 1 on Thursday, and we've got the Champions Division coming on Saturday for 2,000 euros, and that's going to be a wild, wild ride. But nothing is going to take us away from the action we're seeing here for Tier 2, or excuse me, Tier 1 Americas. Tier 2 was last night. Tier 1.
I'm so excited for that Champions Division, to be honest with you, Stiff. Very keen to see how that pans out. That's going to be some really tight racing. You think this is tight? You think Tier 1's tight? Yeah. Well, get your popcorn ready because we got some good racing coming up throughout the week.
Yeah, when something happens in that race, you get loud, you know, any issues. Things are going to be so tight. Here we go,
And
Phoenix, TJ, an exchange now.
Don't forget higher stakes as well.
TJ, hold the phone. Is he going to get 2? Siffy.
Oh.
TJ on the inside of Siffy here. TJ spin looking for 2. Siffy holding. Oh, might not be 2 and 1, but he's still looking, yeah.
As I was saying, right? Oh, no. Barmer having a look again, but that is Zamis around. Zamis has spun it.
No.
He's dropped it.
Very bad luck for Zamis, and he's not going to be thrilled about that.
As I was saying before this action popped up, that Champion Series, high stakes, said 2,000 euros. Is the excitement ever going to be there? Is the pressure ever going to be there? These drivers are going to be putting so much pressure on themselves, considering that there are stakes involved in it. But back to the race now. We got 3 and a bit laps to go, and we still haven't seen any moves in the past couple of laps for P2.
Does Becky break through into a podium here? Let us know in the chat what you're thinking, because it has been tight all race long. Becky B now is officially up 2 positions from where he began. It has been quite the stellar comeback drive for him as well. And if you look ahead of him, the drivers in front of him have made some serious moves in this grid. Rhapsody taking a 3-second time penalty, and he's had a bit of an issue, it would seem, coming out of 13.
Yeah, it hasn't been a great race now for Rhapsody. He's in a good position, obviously, but poor strategy called CEST and Lucas now side by side. CEST thinks better of a risky move around the outside into turn 4. We'll just wait. Bide his time. Lucas, I will remind you guys, is low on ERS. He is on 60%. CEST around 40. Becky B around 50. Fritzon's low as well, along with B-Man. So very crucial now that these drivers start utilizing what ERS they do have, or start saving it, using it wisely, because that is limited resources they have to play with.
I think he's going for it. Does he look? Oh, look at this 2/10 gap right here. Fizzymon and Zamis there. They had a bit of an exchange there. What happened there? Fizzymon had an issue in that Ferrari, excuse me. Becky B now. We're on lap 27, folks. And, well, CEST has a Sirius Williams in his rearview mirrors. And not only is it a Sirius Williams, it's Becky B, the reigning champion for this division.
And not a reigning champion for nothing, Striff.
Well, he doesn't want to start things on a bad note, does he? He's got a reputation to uphold. CEST has a little bit of fireworks to throw down too, and Becky B says, "Thanks for the door open." Oh my! Becky B says, "I want through now."
They should be careful not getting too out of shape on that outside curve of turn 2. Pushed wide by Lucas, but that's all in fairness.
Oh, Lucas! Oh my, he went deep. Becky says, no, you don't do that and get away with it. And he's through into 3rd position, and that is not what you want to be doing in the Mercedes, even remotely.
Oh, he's locking up the rears, getting a little bit out of shape. That's the pressure right there. That's the pressure. He wants P2, and he's got to look at Fritzon.
Oh my. The Mercedes coming undone here, it would seem, as Fritzon applying the pressure. To the inside now for the Mercedes. Fritzon around the outside of 11 here. Look at this. Oh my. Oh. That was touch and go as I've ever seen it. B-Man says, I don't care how touch and go it is. I want my pound as well. He's looking for 5th.
Oh, this last lap is burning, Striff. It's not on fire, it's burning. One more lap to go, and it's really heating up. Becky B and CEST on just about the same amount of ERS. Lucas, Britson, and B-Man all with less than 15, I believe.
Becky B hunting CEST here. DRS wide open on the rear. CEST is a sitting duck. Look at Becky B, the reigning champion, pushing to the inside, and CEST has nothing to say about it. Fritzen on the rear of Lucas. Yan just watching on as all of this unfolds. Both of these drivers now, where are they going to finish? But Becky B, 2.4 seconds off the rear of Angel. CEST, does he have something to say about it? What's happened here? Siffy is into the wall outside of turn 3. And he will not be the first victim of that turn this evening.
Look at the comeback from TJ Spin. I just like to point out Angel has been putting in great laps just to maintain that gap there. Obviously the car behind don't have DRS and have been fighting a bit, but nevertheless, Angel did qualify outside the top 10 and he's done a great job just getting his car in the right position.
All eyes now on the front end of things as CEST hunts down Becky B with the DRS. Of course, we saw what happened with the DRS for Becky into turn 1 when CEST did not have it, but things are not the same when you're mid-lap through into turn 11. Rhapsody, a 26.259 fastest lap of the campaign, and he will neutralize that from the top 10. Could it have been there? And TJ Spin looking at B-Man. B-Man looking to hold. TJ says, excuse me, I want to come through now, but it's all eyes on Angel as he comes through here to take the win in Bahrain. Right behind him, it will be Becky B. And I'm not sure who that was in the Mercedes.
Oh, B-Man's been taken on the line by TJ Spin. I'm not sure if that is entirely true, but good job by TJ Spin. He got a good enough run, and that DRS helped him through.
Amazing race. Amazing race. Angel, Becky B, CEST, your top 3 here. What a charge for Becky B in the end. What a charge. Lucas Yan 4th in the end with Fritzen behind him. TJ Spin 6th. We have B-Man in 7th, and that will be looked at with Carmelesson in 8th, Doltz in 9th. Then we have Phoenix Bomateo in 10th. Tiffy 11th here, Zamis in 12th. Bizimon in 13th with Rez 14th. Excuse me. There was a bit of an exchange there as Rez picks 13th. A penalty. Rhapsody will finish in 15th and Jacob 16th position. We're going to have interviews in just a moment with our top 3, of course, and I can't wait to interview our podium finishers. And with that, after, we're going to have a raid, so stay tuned and hang with us for that. And I imagine there's going to be some excitement from our finishers this evening as well. Have the music. All right, in the classification now, how did things wind up? Look at this drive from Angel. Of course, if you didn't get your vote in, one last opportunity for your driver of the day vote. The link is in. Of course, we have Angel 11th to 1st here with the race win. 6th to 2nd for Becky B, and it was 17th to 3rd for CEST in the Haas. What a performance from him. We're going to be talking to those 3 in just a moment. Lucas Yan from 8th to 4th. And we had Fritzen 3rd where he began. He drops back a couple slots to 5th. Now we have TJ Spin. He drops back a couple slots as well. B-Man moving up a couple slots in the Ferrari 9th to 7th. Then it was Carmelesson who started in pole. He drops all the way to 8th. Boltzmann starting 15th, finishing in 9th. A very good drive from him, all things said and considered. And we have Phoenix Bomateo there from 12th to 10th to round out the points finishers. The fastest lap, if I am not mistaken, was captured in the end by the Mercedes of Rhapsody. And there we have it, a 26.259. The additional point that is normally awarded must be, or set within the top 10. So that has taken that point out of the top 10. We fought for another day. And wow. Wow, what a race, Seb.
Yeah, what a race indeed. Obviously, CEST up there. I did not mention him. He had a great race considering he started P17. To be able to get a podium from that position is awesome. albeit did get lucky with a safety car, but you always need a bit of luck to get yourself a good result, and that's what's happened there. Same with Arnhelt, Becky B with a good drive as well. He was looking like he was at the back of those trains, but he did some good fighting, got himself up there and got himself into contention for a podium, and he's done a great job. Congratulations to those three.
Definitely a big congratulations. And, well, take a look here. We're going to take a look at the driver of the day poll. I hope you got your votes in. We're going to be finishing that up in just a few moments. Some good votes coming in there. And, well, we're going to get to interviews as well, just as this session wraps up. And just a big thank you to everybody tuning into the action tonight. We greatly appreciate all of the support. This is the first round of 15, and we have so much action coming to you here on the channel. So to everybody that came through, hit that follow button. Thank you. Again, my name's Stryfium. Here we have Seb, and we are going to get to an interview with none other than our P3 finisher this evening. What a drive. What a superlative drive, I have to say, for you, Mr. CEST in the Haas. Wow, how are you feeling after that pressure cooker of a race?
The hands hurt a little bit. Ready to take a nap. That was exhausting. That was so much fun though. I mean, couldn't have gone any better for a first race. I'm sure it was great to commentate and watch, and yeah, a little bit of luck played into it, but it worked out in the end.
Well, it was a very, very good drive from you. Of course, I'd like to let you know now we've got, I think, a good chunk of votes in. We're going to call it now. You have one driver of the day, so there's something now you can be proud of as well. A P3 and driver of the day. Not a bad drive for you in the Haas. Next week, the Netherlands. How are you shaping up, given now you've had your first round with the grid? You have a good idea of where everybody stands. You've got a podium. What do you think? Netherlands? You gonna be back?
Yeah, I mean, I sure hope so. Netherlands, I mean, I haven't driven it too much on this game yet, so I'll have to see how it exactly feels compared to last game. But it is one of my favorite tracks, so I'm looking forward to it. It normally produces some decent racing. I mean, we'll just see how different it is in this game, and I'm looking forward to it a lot.
Any questions for CEST, Seb, before we wrap up with our P3 finisher?
Just how big was that smile on your face when that safety car came out when you're on those 14-lap mediums?
Probably not as big as my engineers. He had quite some volume to his voice, because I mean, I had seen that in Sector 1 we had Maxim unfortunately retire, and then I was coming through like Sector 3 hoping a safety car would pop up, and then once it popped up, and then it also came into play that since I'm in the Haas, I had the farthest pit box, or second farthest, so that also helped, knowing that I wasn't going to get held up a lot. And we came out P3, and then the worry was in that the guys behind, like Fytron, Becky, and Lucas Yan, all those fast guys on the softs, that they would just zoom right past me, and then, I mean, I'm very surprised that I was able to hold them up.
Well, had some good pace on those fresh softs after the safety car race. That's so well done on P3 and driver of the day performance.
Thank you.
See you in the next one, CEST. Congratulations.
Yeah.
All right, that was CEST, ladies and gentlemen, our P3 finisher. Now it's time to move on to our second position finisher. He's a good guy. You know him. He is the reigning Tier 1 champion. It is Mr. Becky B joining us in the commentary booth. P2, how you feeling? There was a bit of a roller coaster for you this evening, if I might say.
Honestly, I was not expecting to get P2 at the end of this, but I'm so happy with that result. With everything that happened in qualifying and earlier in the race, I am so happy to get that P2. I think that's definitely the hardest I've ever had to work in a league race, and I'm really glad to get a good result.
Well, talk us through your race start. We saw you, Seb and I mentioned it, we saw you drop a number of positions at the beginning. You had a decent race position. You mentioned here you didn't get where you wanted in quali. What happened for you that set you back for it to be such a battle in the end? Because you really did battle through this grid.
So basically, there was a couple incidents in turn 4, I believe. The first one was when I was trying to overtake a McLaren. I don't remember who it was, but I thought I was clean alongside, so I kind of started to close off the line a little bit, and he thought differently. We kind of locked wheels, and it kind of just lost both 2 or 3 positions. So that happened, and I think that ended up happening later to E-Man. I'm not sure exactly, but I know that happened twice. So kind of getting caught up trying to overtake cars, but yeah, I ended up making them work, and I don't think it cost really. Didn't get any damage from it, and in the end, it worked out. So.
You and I had a chance to speak a little bit before the race. You mentioned Bahrain. It's not at the top of your list. Netherlands coming out next week for round 2. Where do you sit for this action in Zandvoort? Because, well, that's a completely different circuit character.
Yeah, that's a completely different characteristic circuit. And I think a lot of people know that track definitely suits my driving style. I'm much more in line with flowy, higher downforce circuits, so I'm definitely looking forward to it. And I think I can definitely challenge for a P1 there. Unlike here, where I think my quali pace, although not near as good as some of the people in this league and in this division, I think would have been better than P6 tonight. But I think that going into next week, I'm definitely very excited, and I think that's going to be a good race. So, really looking forward to it.
Well, definitely have your hands full with this grid. We saw it in the race, and I'm sure you'll take a look later on. It was an extremely pressurized race throughout the grid. It was the second separating the entirety of the field throughout qualifying, and, well, I couldn't be more excited to see you come through into round 2, Becky, and congratulations on the podium. Seb, do you have any questions for Becky?
No, I don't. Just all I have to say is congratulations on that P2. It's a solid drive, man.
Cheers, Seb.
All right, Becky, any messages for the viewers? I know you have viewers of your own, so I won't take up too much more of your time, but, well, next week, you're the reigning champion. You throw down the gauntlet, or...
Oh, yeah, we're not holding back, Striff.
All right, Becky, take care, and congratulations on the P2, and we'll see you next week.
Cheers, guys. Have a good night.
All right, ladies and gentlemen, that wraps up our coverage of the Americas Tier 1 division. We just finished up with Becky B. We're not going to get an opportunity to speak to Angel this evening, as he has passed on his opportunity to interview. But of course, a superlative performance from him, and I imagine he'll be looking to carry that on into the Netherlands. Of course, my name's Striffium. Thank you, everybody, this evening for watching. Seb, any final regards before we wrap things up for the evening? We're going to rate a member of the community in a moment. I think we might even just head on over and say hello to Becky.
Well, congratulations to Angel on his great race victory. Bit of luck involved, but you always need that. Same for C. Joss. Good podium, and well done to Becky as well. Looking forward to Zandvoort. Hopefully I get another chance to commentate some great Tier 1 action in the Americas division.
Very much, Seb, for joining me, and thank you everybody viewing along. That is it for us. We're going to be back tomorrow with the European division, of course, of Tier 2, and joining me for that will be a Unicorn here at 3 p.m. Eastern Daylight Time, 8 p.m. British Summer Time, and that's 9 p.m. for those of you that are joining us right now, potentially in Central Europe. It's quite late there, I imagine, but we thank everybody for all of the support, and we're going to head on out with a raid, but not before we hit you with our usual outro sequence. And it's new this time around. If you haven't seen it, you might just want to stick around and enjoy it. We'll see you in the next one. Thanks, everybody.